The incident of Hadhrat Abu Hurayrah anhu to reprimand his servant. Hadhrat Abu Ghifari anhu was well known for his piety and abstinence. He kept no money with him and likewise did not like others to hoard it. He was always fighting against the moneyed class. Hadhrat Usman anhu therefore during his caliphate advised him to shift to Ravza, a small village in the desert. He had a few camels to live on and an old servant to look after them. A tribesman from Banu Sulaim once presented himself with a request. I wish to stay with you to benefit from your knowledge of Allah's commandments and the Prophet's ways and habits. I shall also help your servant in looking after the camels. Hazrat Abu anhu replied, I cannot keep with me a person who does not comply with my wishes, but if you can always do as bidden, you may remain with me, else I wish goodbye to you. The person asked, in what way do you like me to carry out your wishes? Hazrat Abu anhu replied, when I ask you to spend from my belongings, you are required to spend the best of them. The person says, I accepted Hazrat Abu anhu's condition and stayed on with him. One day somebody informed him that there were some poor folk camping near the spring close by and were in dire need of food. He asked me to fetch a camel. Accordingly, I went and intended to select the best of the lot as I had pledged to do. It was a very fine and submissive animal and good for riding. So I decided to let it be and selected the second best, as after all it was only to be slaughtered and eaten, and for this purpose just as good as the other. The other one was very good for riding and much more useful to Hadhrat Abu anhu and his family, while the poor would find the one as tasty as the other. I therefore led the other camel to Hadhrat Abu anhu. He retorted, so after all you have broken your pledge. Knowing well what he meant, I turned back and fetched the best camel instead. He addressed the people about it. I want 2 persons to do a job for Allah. As 2 persons volunteered themselves, he bade them go and slaughter the camel and distribute the meat equally among the families camping near the water, including his own, saying, my family will also share equally with the rest. The volunteers carried out his instructions. He then sent for me and asked, did you intentionally ignore my instructions about spending the best out of my belongings, or you just happened to forget about it? The tribesman said, I did not forget your instructions, but thought it better to preserve the one for transport duties while the other was as good for eating. Abu Hurayrah asked, was it for my personal need that you left it? The tribesman said, yes. Hazrat Abu anhu said, come, let me tell you the occasion of my needs. That is the day when I shall be laid all alone in the solitude of the grave. Remember, there are 3 partners in your wealth. Those are 1, your destiny, which does not wait to take away its share. Good or bad, it would take away all that it has to take. 2, your heirs, who are waiting for the day of your death, so that they may take over their share. And 3, yourself, if you can manage, don't be the most helpless of the 3 partners. Take your full share while you can. Allah says, you will not attain unto piety until you spend of that which you love. Al-Quran chapter 3 verse 92. I therefore think it advisable to send in advance the things which I love best, so that they may be in safe deposit for me there. That man is the worst loser of the three partners who does not spend his wealth in the path of Allah and keeps postponing the event till at last destiny takes it away from him, or he dies and his heirs appropriate it. It is very seldom that the heirs give away in the path of Allah the wealth inherited from another person so that his soul may benefit by it. The Prophet ﷺ once remarked, "Man cherishes his worldly belongings, hugging them to his soul and gloating, 'My wealth, my wealth.' But in reality only that much of it is his wealth which he either enjoys in the form of food or dress or spends in the path of Allah to be stored up for him in the hereafter. What is left of his wealth belongs to others. He is only acting as a custodian." In another hadith, it is reported that once the Prophet ﷺ inquired of the Sahaba, "Which of you would rather like to see his wealth in the hands of his heirs than keep it with himself?" They replied, "Who would like to be such a person, O Prophet of Allah?" Thereupon the Prophet ﷺ explained, "Whatever you send in advance by spending it in the path of Allah is yours, and whatever is left behind belongs to your heirs."
To get new episodes, click subscribe button.